Hi, I'm Harrison, CTO Great Wave AI, and I'm going to quickly talk about why platform and not products in the space of AI agents. So at the moment, there's a lot of conversations happening about particular use cases, and these conversations happen in a almost white space vacuum where they are the only use case in existence. In reality, this is a more accurate picture. The use case discussion is happening for different use cases in different departments, in different teams, in different individuals. It's much broader than just a single use case we want to automate so we can improve a process by 50%, for example. Now, this is the steps that are required to build a AI agent to achieve a use case. So design build, all the steps needed to do that, the type of testing that needs to be done, productionization and operating. And especially the operating I'd like to highlight here because today we're thinking about getting AI agents working. We're not thinking about how we monitor and maintain those in a few months' time or a few years' time. And as more and more keep getting added, to the enterprise, this becomes a bigger challenge the longer it is left. So here's a mythology, a way of going and developing and building these AI agents. Here's an example. Team one, they start building an AI agent using their method and they use this tool. Team two, okay, they look at team one, they've used that method, but we want to use a bit of a different tool to do that. Team three go, okay, great. I don't really like that method. I want to use a different method and a different tool. And team four just rogue and go do whatever they want. So 4 use cases delivered here. The business unit is happy. They've got their 4 use cases delivered. Brilliant. Now, what happens is when use case 5 comes along, things get a bit more tricky. So here we've got a basic graph. So we've got along the bottom cost, not much and lots, and then we've got time, not much and lots. So the first one, very easy to get going with. As we go through the chain, though, inevitable happens. We've got this use case that works really well. We want to integrate it into this use case or that use case or whatever it may be. Very much like digitalization, where it went from physical paper-based things for different processes. We had to build more apps and add complexity to apps to be able to get the full digitalization transformation to happen. This is the same, and inevitable comes at use case, I don't know, 6. Oh, okay, great. But because we've used all these different tools, we now need to go and build an integration layer, which is going to take 5 times as long and 5 times much more money than it did to create the use cases in the first place. So this is why a platform is a better fit for where you've got to scale use cases. Now, when it comes to operations, so just to mention, so obviously you want to have everything happening in the same standard, same architecture, control, security, etc., and that doesn't happen if you are building separately. Building together in the same way and same platform helps greatly here. And ultimately, this is what the picture looks like eventually. When it gets into operations, you can have one on the left where you'll have no control, but you have influence. So this is where product teams working directly with businesses have delivered things in isolation of each other. And on the right-hand side is where you've the the developer teams and no-code users, etc., have built within a single platform. You retain control of the use cases, and that's critical because you're going to have to upgrade the models at some point. There's going to be an incident one day, and someone's going to ask, "How did that happen?" There's going to be a penetration test or a security audit, and they're going to want to see how all these use cases meet yours and industry standard requirements. This is a much harder way of going about delivering that, and this is a much easier way and low risk way of doing that. And on that note, I'm just going to show you a whistle-stop tour of the Great Wave AI platform in terms of how these things are delivered in our platform. I just want to call out a few things. So the retriever is especially important. 99% of all use cases that we build require the integration of organizational data. And it's because that data doesn't exist in the public domain, and therefore these powerful large language models are not trained in that information. So it's a good way of getting it in. We need a way of evaluating it. So we need to know, okay, what is it doing? What is the AI agent doing? Is it doing what we tell it to do? Is it not doing what we tell it to do? Feedback, the only people that can say if the agent is good enough is the expert, the domain expert in that area. They need to be able to use these quickly. They need to be able to give feedback, and that feedback needs to be acted upon. And then we've got governance, control, and security down here. And that is all about, okay, so we've got these inherent risks with probability in these models. We can make them hallucinate if we want to. We need to protect against that. So here I have a IT support agent, and I'm going to ask it a question, and it's going to give me an answer. So assume I'm testing this out. I want to see if this any good before I give it out to my staff. I don't like the response, so I put, this is rubbish. This is an example of the human feedback. I could put it good. I could do a number of things as well, just to show you. So this is a depiction of our user interface, but this can be also put into Teams or Slack or whatever you use. Now I can go into the AI agent. Once I refresh my session, I can go into evaluate. And this is the evaluation bit here and the continuous evaluation bit here. So when I'm testing, I want to see if it's working, but when it goes live, I need to see it's still working 3 months later. Maybe some changes have happened to data. So I can see here it's flagged up because someone said it's bad. I can see the question, the response. I can see how it got the response, i.e. which data it used. And it scored it for me in terms of factuality, relevance, adherence, data quality, and input clarity. These are guidelines. We always predicate, especially through testing, a human reviews these, but this can quickly tell you where there might be an issue with data quality, for example, where the source information has contradictory information in it, in which case the AI, as a human, can't really make a decision on what's right or wrong because it's been given two sets of information that say differing things. So that is the evaluation aspect. On the guard rule side, we have the ability to add rules on the input and the output. So I can add a rule that said should not swear. Again, I'm not sure. Many people do, and then we can have it forbid that or forbid all of them. So if we get multiple guard rules, we can require at least one. So if you want a swear bot, then we would have must swear at least once. Maybe we'll do that one day. I don't think it will sell very well, but we should do that. And the output, again, we're trying to protect what the AI may hallucinate. If we, take the worst case scenario, we've got an inside actor, they're trying to jailbreak our system. We want to only make sure that this agent talks IT support. If it comes back with a response that isn't about IT support, it will shut it down. Again, you can forbid it or require it. We can have it detect a bit like a firewall, it detects it and let it through, or we can just stop it and get a prompt back to the user. So that's the way we can secure our agents. We can also link everything together. We've got multiple different types of agents, so we can glue these together. So when it comes back to doing this element, we will have a picture, but in a completely different concept, except everything is basically still down here, nice and clear there for you. Because we've got everything in the same platform, the same multi-agents as you can see here. This is orchestrating color. I can't remember why I did this, but I did. These are 4 different agents under an orchestrator agent, and these have conditions against them. So you can glue agents together quite effectively. And finally, on the knowledge side, we've got the ability, as I mentioned, retrieving using your information, follow API architecture here. We've got critically the ability to configure indexes in very, very different ways. And this is a paramount because the type of data you want to feed your AI agent, there is a good and a bad way of doing it. And you need to test what good and bad looks like through trial and error. And the only way you can do that is either been able to choose these options here or code something up. And that's, again, a bit of a differentiation for us. And we've got this metadata option, again, to further enrich the source data so the AI understands when you ask a question about this, it needs to go to this place in the documentation. And this scales to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of documents. I hope that makes sense. If there's any questions, please get in touch. Harrison at Great Wave AI. Thank you.